Hey everybody, my name is Jake Woodfin, and me and my family are your church planting missionaries here in the city of San Francisco, and I want to tell you what's been going on over the last couple months. Okay, so here at Branches Baptist Church, the church we started, we have a discipleship method that takes young believers and people that are just not strong in their faith through a program over the course of 6 months to just grow them in things like Bible doctrine, how to live out their Christian faith, and finally, how to minister for the Lord. And part of their graduation from this discipleship program is that they have to put on their own community outreach where they engage people in the community with the gospel and through service activities. And so we had 3 guys that were graduating from this named Ethan, Owen, and Vincent. And they went through all of this program. They did a great job. Now they're also able to train to disciple others. But at the end, they did their discipleship program by putting on a street cleanup here in our neighborhood here in San Francisco. And it was incredible. They did all the work to plan it and get everything ready and all of the supplies that they needed. They also reached out to our community to invite our neighbors, and we had multiple of our neighbors, different families and individuals show up, people we never had contacted or met before, show up to the street cleanup. We were able to engage about our church, engage with them personally. It was so cool to see them put this on and just make a difference in our community and get the word out about our church through service as well. We also did a Green Fest outreach, which is a street fair outreach. We put up a booth, we engaged with families. We were able to engage with literally hundreds of families. We gave out over 500 invitations to Easter. It was a great day. And that brings us to Easter. Our Easter Sunday was phenomenal. It was such a blessing. We had the goal of seeing 100 people there at Easter, something we've never done before as a young church, and we reached that goal. We had 44 first-time guests show up for church. And here's the cool part about that. Most of these guests had never been to church before. They'd never heard the gospel before. I had people that were asking me before when they were RSVPing, I'm Buddhist, can I come to Easter? I was like, yes, you could come, hear the good news of Jesus Christ. And so that meant for us as a church, we got to be the very first seeds of the gospel as they heard about Jesus dying and being buried and raising again for their sins and how they can find salvation through him. So we're just hopeful that as we planted that first seed, that God would continue to bring others into their lives to water that, and in his timing, that God would give the increase. So continue to pray for every single person on that Easter Sunday that got to hear the good news of Jesus. Also, one of the cool things about our church for me was, as a leader, I got to see our church really just take responsibility for itself. We've been doing this now. This is our 3rd Easter as a church, and it was the smoothest Easter we've ever had. And even though we did more than we ever did before, because our church people now being discipled and growing in their own service and ministry, they had all their areas of service and they did it phenomenally. I didn't have to run around, check on everybody. It was awesome to see our church kind of taking responsibility for itself and being the church that God called them to be. And to top it all off, over the last couple months, we've seen 2 people come to know Jesus as their Savior, to be saved. And it's always a phenomenal thing just to know that there's another soul that will be in heaven for all eternity. And I'll tell you guys more about their story in upcoming letters and videos. Well, I just want to say thank you guys so much for your prayers and support. I say this all the time, but it's so true. We could not do what we're doing here in San Francisco without your prayers and support. So thank you for partnering with us as we reach more and more people with the good news of Jesus here in the city of San Francisco. Love you guys. Thank you so much. And I hope that you guys have an awesome day.